Maybe I'm crazy, but girls are not the reason why you can't pay student athletes.
Feels safer to lay out with that one. 2018.
Probably, yeah. It's a good choice.
Maybe I'm crazy, maybe I'm crazy, maybe I'm not, maybe I'm not.
All right, welcome to the Maybe I'm Crazy podcast. I'm Joy Taylor. That's Brandon Newman.
Hey.
Hello, Brandon.
Hi, Joy.
We are like battling right now for best outfit. Yours is strong because it's an aggressive move to wear a lot of white.
Yes. But I figured with Notre Dame, the women's win, and also opening day, baseball coming in, do a little mix. You feel me?
I feel you.
You are swagged out.
I am swagged out,
yes.
Although I might be a little too swagged out, but I'm going to own it, actually. I saw a reflection of myself, and I was like, wow, I'm really wearing all this. So I am.
Great.
You can't see my shoes. You have to check the Insta for that.
Yes.
But they're nice.
Very, very
They're
fly.
nice shoes.
Very fresh.
They also have bright red. So
yes. Shouts out to the greatest.
Yeah.
Quote,
I guess I could just like hold them up.
Jordan. Yeah, you can just put them up. Yeah.
They're delicious.
I will.
I'm not flexible, which is why I have to hold my leg as such.
Please take away my sneakerhead card, but I don't remember what number Jordans those are.
Yeah, I don't either.
So
I know they're the Valentine's Day edition though, because they have hearts on them. Anyway, we talked to Chris Broussard today, our FS1 NBA insider, also the host of In the Zone podcast, which is another good podcast you should listen to.
Shouts out.
We talk about Jordan and LeBron with him, playoff picture, the Rockets, a bunch of fun stuff. We're going to talk about the NCAA championship. Mm-hmm. Villanova won, if anyone cares.
Now we're done talking about it.
A lot of people do, which we will get into later. LeBron is being incredibly petty, it's honorary LeBron James petty report. And loser power rankings, it's a big retirement. It's retirement time.
Yes, I'm very excited
for
to
the
retirement.
GOAT. For the GOAT.
Yes.
So we'll talk about that. And of course, Migos Report, which is our most important, crucial segment that we do.
Can't wait.
So, all right. Let's get started. All right, Chris Broussard, our good friend Chris Broussard, has finally joined us on the Maybe I'm Crazy podcast.
Right.
About time.
I know.
Been waiting.
Everyone says that. The podcast is
feeling
still
a
rather
certain
new.
way.
Yeah.
Well, look, I've never been asked to be on your podcast.
Okay. All right. That's John Hill's decision. So,
if you want to start out on that note,
I
have no hard
actually-
feelings about it.
If you want to go there, I actually have been asked to be on this podcast.
Yeah,
so
which I understand, because Brandon is entertaining. But you do have Chris does have a podcast on Fox Sports, In the Zone podcast, which we plug a lot for you.
yes.
Thank you.
Because it's a very good podcast.
Of course.
So NBA, there's been a lot of talk about Jordan and LeBron, which we'll get to in a little bit. I don't really know how I feel about where you stand on it. We'll get to that in a second. But let's start with
Interesting.
let's start with the playoff picture right now. It's the Cavs in the East, as we already know, and Houston and the Warriors in the West. Now Houston's locked up, first place, and everyone is very high on Houston right now. Clyde Drexler was on Undisputed, very unbiased about the Rockets, saying it they're going to win the championship. I can't commit to the Rockets winning the championship. I just can't do it. And maybe it's just my Warrior, like me being blinded to the Warriors. Not a Warriors fan, by the way. Just think that they have Kevin Durant, who's very good, and won a championship and a Finals MVP last year. So, what are your actual inside gut feelings about the Rockets?
I give them a great shot. I think because Golden State's banged up. If Golden State were healthy, I'd pick Golden State and give the Rockets like a 30% chance of getting to the finals. But with them banged up, I'm going to give the Rockets like a 50% chance because I don't know what Steph's going to come back like. If he's 70 to 75%, which is what a lot of people close to him said he was in 2016, when he had a lesser MCL sprain. I think that was a grade 1. This is a grade 2, I believe. So, and without Steph being Steph, they're not the same team. As great as Durant is and Klay Thompson and Draymond, they're not the same. So I would give Houston a great chance to beat them. My only concern about Houston is we haven't seen James Harden step up in the clutch. And Chris Paul, who has done it at times, has also faltered badly in the clutch. And then Mike D'Antoni, of course, hasn't gotten it done. So, I mean, those are maybe some big ifs, but that's really my own concern. If those three do what they do, if Harden plays his game and doesn't struggle uncharacteristically in the clutch, then I think they've got a great chance to beat Golden State. And then I would probably pick them over Cleveland. I'd want to see how Cleveland looks in the playoffs. If they look really impressive in running through the East, maybe I'd pick them over Houston. But right now, I'd go Golden State 1, Houston 2, Cleveland 3 as far as chances to win it.
Now, we were together when Harden fell off the last playoffs.
San Antonio.
Right, against San
6,
Antonio. We were watching that in Buffalo Wild Wings.
Yep.
So what do you think? Yeah, this is an in-person name drop.
Yes.
It's like I was watching this game with Chris Broussard last year.
For name dropping in the most casual way.
I was just giving him a frame of reference.
The course of the conversation just flows easily.
I'll get to the question. Let me get
That's
to the
how
question.
you name drop.
Let me
just
just
flow.
say,
Just let it flow like no big
But
no big announcement.
So Nick Wright was on the podcast, and obviously he's a Houston homer. What are you seeing out of James Harden this season that makes you think that they even have a chance? Because that's stuck in my mind like a sore thumb watching James Harden just like crumble.
Yeah, and he did. I mean, but it's hard you can't predict those things. And you can't predict when somebody's coming out of that. LeBron struggled like that against Dallas. I thought he even struggled like that against Boston the year before in Cleveland. But he still put up great numbers against Boston. But he really wasn't himself those last few games. And then in Dallas, we know that wasn't LeBron James. So who could have predicted that? And then who could have predicted the next year, all of a sudden LeBron would be totally different and play at his ultimate level when it really mattered most. So I don't know if even Harden is going to know until – that moment comes, because he was great throughout that series.
Mm-hmm.
And if you look at, some of his other times he struggled against Golden State, I believe in 2015, he played well earlier in the series and struggled in Game 5. So I think he'll come out of it. I think sometimes it takes guys, it takes time to learn how to win big in the NBA. You can win regular season games. You can even win early round series, but it takes time for a lot of guys to learn how to win at the ultimate level. Isaiah Thomas, the legend, remember before he won his first title, they were on the verge of beating Larry Bird and the Celtics. They were about to go up 3-2, going back to Detroit, and Isaiah Thomas threw just an unfathomable pass that Larry Bird picked off at the end of the game, and Boston wins and the series changes. And then, of course, Isaiah comes back and wins 2 championships. Magic Johnson in 1984 was so bad they called him Tragic Johnson. Now Magic had won as a rookie, and he had also won another title. But as a rookie, Kareem was the man on that team.
Right.
Magic was phenomenal, though, in Game 6 without Kareem. But, sometimes players just have those moments. So I predict that James Harden will come out of that as he's just matured and become a better player. But we'll have to wait and see, really.
So he's going to be the MVP this year. And I say that like LeBron could win the MVP every year if we're being serious.
If we were just saying best player.
If the MVP is the best player, but also he's also the most important player on his team always.
Yeah.
So
most important player to the NBA, which is why I think he should win as many years as you want to give it to him.
Okay. And I'm a voter, so I get where you're coming from. When I first started voting, I did feel like just give it to the best player, because it was either my first or second year voting, Karl Malone won. And I was like, man, Jordan's clearly the best player in the league.
Right.
Like, what are we doing? But you could almost vote before the season started if you just say who's the best player.
Right.
So Jordan didn't win it every year that he was the best player. Kobe was the best player a few years. He only got one. Shaq, clearly, he only got one. So a precedent has kind of been set that it's not the best player. It is you have to win a certain number of games unless you do something crazy like Russell Westbrook last year with the triple-double. You have to win 50-plus games. Your team has to be kind of surprisingly successful. And like when Steph won his first year, nobody saw them winning 67 games, And then the next year they won 73. So, so it's kind of a combination of individual dominance and team record. And that's where, of course, Harden has LeBron beat.
I also feel, look, James Harden deserves it, but I feel like it's kind of like Kevin Durant said, like it's his year. Like just give it to him.
Harden's year.
It's just kind of like it's just gotta give it to him.
Look,
That's why I feel like Westbrook was last year. It was like, it's kind of just, I mean, he's not going to do this again. Might as well just give
he's
it.
almost averaging a triple-double
Right.
this year. And nobody's even thinking about him as
Because he had it
MVP,
last
which is
year.
funny.
Right. Which
What-
is insane if you think about
Yeah.
it. But I don't, and especially considering that he has Paul George and Carmelo this year. I look, I do think it's his year. I'm not just taking anything away from it. It's not like the Derrick Rose year where he robbed LeBron. I do
Really
think
did,
he
though.
legitimately does deserve the MVP, but can you make an argument for LeBron this year?
I
I
don't
don't think
really
that you
think so.
can.
I don't
I
think
think
so.
just based off of the fact that LeBron is the best player and the most important player on the team, but like I don't think you can actually make an argument for it, especially after the trades at the trade deadline. To me, the whole like excuse machine about like I don't have any help and I'm carrying this whole team. Now that we've taken a little step back, we see that maybe it wasn't as earth shattering as we thought it was going to be, and Kevin Love's in and out all the time. I just still don't feel like he doesn't have any help.
No. He's got. I mean, Kevin Love is a perennial all-star. And when you're third in the East, you're not going to win MVP. It's just as simple as that. The years LeBron won it, his teams had tremendous records. One year was 66 wins. One year was 61 years. Another year Miami was 66 wins. And the year before that, I can't 57, something like that. But, that winning accounts where you mentioned when Derrick Rose beat LeBron for the MVP. Rose had no other all NBA players as teammates, and they won more games than the Heat, which had 3 Hall of Famers in their prime. So that all played into why Derrick Rose won it. I will say this: the MVP award, as great as it is and as much as it means, it's strange when you look at it historically. Steve Nash has as many MVPs as Shaq and Kobe combined. I mean, that's just ridiculous.
What?
He has 2. Shaq and Kobe each have 1.
Does it matter?
It matters. It definitely matters, but
You're a voter, though.
I don't want to say. Well, it's historic. It's a historic thing.
I know, but it's just
But
like,
to say that you
different.
were the MVP of the league, I think it just, especially now with the oversaturation of media that we have, it's like, I mean, last year that was the thing we talked about the most was who was going to win MVP. Yeah, and making an argument for Russ winning MVP despite the fact that they didn't win that many games and they weren't a higher seed.
we talked about it the most because it was the most debatable topic,
There was
though, is it
nothing
not?
else to talk about.
Right,
because
Right, but that's
we
kind
knew
of
how
what I
great
feel like
Golden
it's been
State
with
was.
MVP this year. Like even now we're starting to kind of talk about like LeBron versus Harden because we want stuff to talk about.
Yeah, I don't think there's an argument for LeBron. I think the question is who finishes second, LeBron or Anthony Davis. I think a couple of weeks ago you could have made a stronger argument for Anthony Davis.
Yeah.
I think LeBron will edge him and finish second. And then the question is Harden unanimous? Because, I mean, if I'm as a voter, I don't know how I vote for anybody else. And people look at it like, well, how can you say he's unanimous? Steph should not have been the first and only unanimous vote getter. I mean, you can't tell me Michael Jordan wasn't the unanimous MVP some years, or LeBron James shouldn't have been unanimous some years, or Kareem and any of the all-time
but
greats.
I mean we know how these sports reporters are. They're petty.
Yeah.
They're what?
Not you, Chris.
It's petty. Well, it's like, yeah.
Well, I think what's happened is years ago, you weren't seeing. We didn't have as much information as we have now.
Yeah.
Like now, I can see all the games,
Yeah.
and if I don't see the game, I'm seeing the highlights. I'm looking at not only the normal stats, but I'm looking at the analytics. Like so much information is there. Whereas years ago, if you were an East Coast writer, you really weren't seeing the Western Conference players play a lot.
Right.
And then you were just seeing that you could look at stats, but we just didn't have the information. And I also think with sports talk radio, with all the national shows that you have on sports now, that I think a consensus, even though the NBA gives you no rules for this is your criteria for NBA MVP.
Oh, really?
Oh, it's all feeling?
It's all who individual.
Good data.
Some people may think best player in the world. Some people may think best player on best team. Some people think it's a combination of record and individual performance. It's just your own thing. But I do think because of the information age, because all the writers tend to see, what each other is thinking on Twitter and when they're on television, that a consensus has kind of been formed as, okay, MVP, you have to have a great record, again, unless you do a triple-double or whatever like Russ, or and your individual numbers have to be really dominant. So
right.
I think there's probably more of a consensus now than ever as to what the MVP award means. And that's why I think Harden could win it. And I think going forward, there will be more unanimous vote getters.
And probably more of a variety as opposed to just being LeBron every year. Okay, so you mentioned the Eastern Conference. Make an argument for any other Eastern Conference team making it out of the East besides the Cavs. Besides the Heat, of course.
They weren't.
They played well against the Cavs.
Yes, they
played
did.
well.
They weren't the first
regular
team that
season
came
awards,
to my mind.
okay.
Yeah, clearly you're not.
Look, the only way the Cavs don't win the East is if Love gets hurt or they just they would beat themselves. Like there's no Toronto cannot beat them if the Cavs play up to their potential. LeBron's just so far ahead.
In a series or period?
In a series. Yeah, they can win a game or two.
Right,
LeBron's gonna. I mean, if it comes down to them, like LeBron's going to let the Eastern Conference Finals go to like 5, maybe 6 games. Just like it's just to be nice. There's
he was nice last year. He let it go. What was it? Boston? They got 1 game.
Yeah.
And he did let that happen.
Yes,
but
he let that happen.
If LeBron is LeBron.
Adam Silver was like, LeBron, please. We need, we're going to lose so many. He likes taking the break.
Yeah, he just likes, just.
It's advertising dollars. Like, you got to have the games.
Yeah.
But maybe Adam Silver would be like, it'd be better if they swept through because then that creates more drama for the finals. Like, people think, the Cavs are rolling, especially if it's not Golden State or if Golden State struggles in the West. But whatever the case, I can't make an argument for anybody else. Look, I think the second best team in the East could be Philadelphia. Boston's just so injury depleted. I don't know that I even expect Kyrie Irving to be back.
But what about Embiid?
Well, but the face, I mean, he can play with a mask. He'll be back at least for the second round, maybe the first round. If he's not back for the first round, they could lose to Indiana. But if he plays, if they play Toronto in the second round, Toronto's a better team. But who are the 2 best players in that series? With all due respect to DeMar DeRozan and Kyle Lowry, it's probably Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons, even though Simmons is young. Now, on the other hand, Philly is Toronto would have a bet. Like if I had to say, if you put a gun to my head and said who makes the finals in the East if it's not Cleveland.
Right. That's metaphorically what we're doing right now.
I might say
I just less violent.
I think Toronto's yes. I think Philly is too young. There's just no way I see a team that young with that little bit of experience getting to the NBA Finals. I can't think of a precedent where it's ever happened. Now we are talking about an unusually weak conference, but so I probably would say Toronto just because they have more experience and they got a great coach. Philly's got a good coach too, but I like Philly. I really think Philly could get to the Eastern Conference Finals.
Philadelphia's got that magic right now.
Man, trust the process. They had the national championship, and they had the
Super
Bowl.
That's right.
Keep that train rolling.
It's a good time to be a Philly fan.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm as much as we talk about Lonzo, I really want Ben Simmons to be one of the stars of the NBA and Embiid and the whole Sixers. Markelle Fultz, if he ever learns how to shoot, I want to learn. I want to watch that team. I want to watch that team play. And Ben Simmons, he has 4 triple doubles in the last 10 games.
Ben Simmons is look, as I like Lonzo. I'm not one of those Lonzo bashers. I think he is going to be a very good player in the league. To me, he's not in the same sentence as Ben Simmons. I mean, it's like Magic Johnson and Jason Kidd. I've said it plenty of times.
Will he be
before.
next year though? Ben Simmons took that whole year off.
No, I don't. I think Lonzo Ball's ceiling is Jason Kidd, somewhere in that range, which is great.
Hall of Famer.
That's a Hall of Famer. So don't get me wrong. That's great. I think Ben Simmons' ceiling. I'm not gonna say he can be Magic Johnson, but I think he can be very close. Like he's the reincarnation of Magic Johnson. That's really what he is. I mean,
You got that face
he's
on.
not
You
quite
don't
as
believe it?
fancy.
Okay,
Right.
but
as
that's
Magic with the passes.
here's my resistance to these comparisons, and we're gonna talk about the other comparison that's getting on my nerves these days, which we talk about all the time, but it's particularly now. I get it what you're saying, okay, and maybe you're right, but the factor that's missing that makes Magic Johnson is what makes Magic Johnson, and that is this pizzazz that you speak of.
Magic, if you will.
Magic, if
If
you
you
will.
will. If you
So,
will.
so I struggle with this idea that Ben Simmons, great player, cool, but I mean, Ben Simmons ain't moving me like that when it comes to the personality and the capturing of the fans. And I'm not saying that he's not going to get there, but I just feel like you have that extra spice in the pot or you don't. And that's to me, that's why Lonzo is like that, because Lonzo, whether it's his father or not, by association, is a polarizing.
It's his father.
Sure.
Because Lonzo's not a charismatic.
Okay,
person.
but regardless, his father exists, and he has created this mystique about Lonzo. And whether you hate the Ball family or you love them, you got to pick a side. It's like LeBron. There's nobody who's like, I don't really know how I feel about LeBron. No, you either like LeBron or you don't like LeBron, and that's what makes you a superstar. In reality, is that you are a
winning.
debatable.
'Cause
Sure,
Ben's gonna win.
Winning,
or he's gonna be in the picture.
Winning does cement that, for sure. But we are also trending in a direction where, for example, Odell Beckham Jr. has won nothing. And he is a superstar, and he may never win anything. And he is a superstar. You don't necessarily have to do
I think
that
in
level
basketball
of winning.
you do. In football, it's just different, especially for a wide receiver.
Maybe,
Calvin
but I'm just
Johnson
saying,
was
as far
phenomenal. He
as
never won.
but he was not. I wouldn't. I mean,
He was a superstar player.
He was a superstar, but I even feel like Odell is a level up as far as the international superstardom than Calvin Johnson
Well,
was.
with people that with. I mean, he's a celebrity.
I don't want to get sidetracked. I'm
Yeah,
just
he's a
saying that, the
celebrity.
point that I'm trying to make is I need to see that actual X factor in your personality. That's a part of basketball. That's a part of that's a big part of what made Magic.
Well, yeah, he's not the charisma. At least I don't see the charisma that Magic Johnson
But that
has.
charisma
But
is what
his
makes
game-
you a
well,
superstar
but
to me.
You gotta win. Magic won. Magic played with a great big in Kareem. And now Ben has a great big. And look, we'll see if he wins championships. But they will be a factor in the NBA for the foreseeable future. And the passing, he's a great passer.
Mm-hmm.
His passes aren't, we haven't seen anybody. People talk about LeBron is a great passer, and he is. But his passes don't have the charisma, the pizzazz that Magic's had. Nobody's do. Steve Nash, you can't name a player who passed with the style that Magic Johnson did.
No, I would say that
player.
LeBron comes the closest to me. Anyway.
Not even close. Not even close. LeBron rarely does real no looks. LeBron's no looks are kind of as he's passing it, looking away. He's done a couple of them.
That look the other day was.
Look at a highlight of Magic Johnson's passes.
No, they're insane. They're insane.
It is unbelievable. And Ben Simmons, I said it last year, and people thought I was crazy. I said on the Herd's couch.
Maybe you're crazy.
Ben Simmons, Ben Simmons is a better passer than LeBron.
I was when Ben Simmons played in the summer league that year in Vegas. There's highlight reels of his passes. Some of those games at the beginning, we didn't even see him score.
I'm not knocking Ben Simmons. I like Ben Simmons. I'm just saying, in order to be that transcendent superstar, you also have to have that transcendent superstar personality.
Maybe he's waiting to win to roll it out, because some of these guys, they need to win before we even know who they are. I feel like, and maybe it's just because I was out of the loop, but James Harden, after proving who he was on his own team, really started to show how charismatic and his real personality.
Oh, he's done that? I must have been asleep through that whole situation, because I don't believe that's happened yet. The entire
he's a goofball. He's a meme.
His
He's
entire
a gift.
personality exists in his beard.
Yeah, well, he has a beard.
His
he grew
dress,
it out.
his clothing.
Yeah.
That's
You think
fine.
I'm fat on accident?
that's-
I do this on purpose. It's funnier.
Just stick.
Yeah, it's funnier this way. I can lose weight
It's part of the look.
whenever I want to.
You make a good point, Joy. He doesn't have that charisma, and he I don't think he ever would. I don't think we know that we've seen an NBA player with the charisma of Magic. But I think Ben Simmons will be marketable. Like Michael Jordan didn't have the charisma of Magic, but he was marketable. LeBron, marketable. So I think Ben will be marketable. He's not like a Tim Duncan. He's not on that just dull level.
So he's not broccoli.
No.
Yes.
He's not broccoli,
Spurs
but
broccoli.
he's not,
I
ice
happen to
cream
love
with
broccoli,
sprinkles
actually.
like Magic.
Delicious,
But-
especially with cheese.
Our producer Ashley is staring
Just
at me.
take
She's
away
a
the
Spurs
whole
fan. She's very upset
point
right
of
now.
broccoli
You know what I'm saying?
by
What's
throwing
up?
cheese on it, right?
Yeah, whatever you need to do.
With chocolate and
Cheese
cheese.
is good
it
with me.
delicious.
Cheese is good with me. Remember, I had my my blood work done, and the space doctor that did my blood work told me that
Broccoli with cheese is good for you?
No, he didn't say that specifically. He just said that cheese doesn't like affect me. I don't think he's like encouraging me to go eat a block of cheese or anything, but like
Cheese? You're immune to cheese?
I'm immune to cheese.
Congratulations, Joy.
Thank you. It was big news for me.
Nice.
It's very
Congrats.
important news.
That's big stuff.
Yeah, I've got some other stuff wrong with me, but that's not wrong. So I can still eat cheese and dairy. All right, so people are being annoying again about this Jordan LeBron thing. LeBron beat one of Michael Jordan's records in those consecutive games with 10 points or more. Which, look, I'm going to keep it real. It is impressive, but it's also inevitable because LeBron is a Black Panther and he's got the vibranium. So he's basically just going to play forever, or at least the next 5 years at least. Wakanda forever. So I don't people flipping out about this now, Pat makes LeBron better than Jordan thing. I must have missed where LeBron won 6 more championships, or maybe he did while I was taking a nap yesterday. I don't know, but it's a cool thing to beat a Jordan record. This LeBron Jordan thing to me is just it's starting to get on my nerves. I'm getting kind of triggered. Jordan is the greatest player of all time. Can we just leave him alone?
No.
Can we
Where's
just leave
LeBron
Jordan
rank?
over there? Okay. I will put I think when LeBron finishes his career, he will be the second greatest player of all time. And I struggle with that because I really do feel like it's an insult to Kareem, because I feel like we really just kind of dismiss the greatness that is Kareem, and everyone else is kind of just okay. Whatever, Will Chamberlain, cool, But let's just talk about eras where everyone was available to play, and we weren't necessarily running around in rubber Converse and stuff. We were
a little subtle jab at the old school.
I'm just saying, I love the
More
old
than
school,
subtle.
but
Yes.
LeBron would absolutely destroy most. I love Converse.
LeBron could play in
You feel
barefoot.
like you can dunk in Converse?
If the rim's 8 feet.
Okay, well.
There you go.
Converse.
It's not.
You could only wear.
You played in Converse.
Have you ever taken-
Your avatar on Twitter, you might be wearing
Have
some
you ever
Converse.
taken a
No, I was
long
wearing
walk
leather
in
Nikes.
Converse?
I'm not that old, man. We had leather Nikes back.
Well, you got to tell them to put some color in that
Have
picture.
you
I
ever-
did play in ponies though. Y'all
Yeah.
don't
Oh,
even
yeah.
know
Oh,
that.
Yeah,
yeah.
about ponies.
For sure.
Yeah, they tried to bring those
They
back.
trying to bring them
I
back.
played in
Trying
British
to bring
Knights.
them back.
What you know about
Oh,
that?
British Knights. See,
All
they
I'm
were a step above buddies.
I
British
own
Knights.
yeah.
several
That's
pairs
step.
of Converse. It's no diss to Converse. That's not my point.
Right.
The point is, we know what LeBron would do in that era. It would be unfair. I mean, he also has the vibranium, so that's also unfair anyway. But
And the doctors.
people weren't spending $2 million on their body at that time. Fine. But I just think what LeBron will have done by the end of his career will land him in just numbers alone. And you can argue longevity, but that's a testament to LeBron. Everybody doesn't want to take care of their body like that. Everybody doesn't have that discipline to spend $2 million. Not even about the money. He has the money obviously to do that, and that's an investment in yourself long term. But you also have to you have to have the time to do that.
And
You
nobody
have
got
to
time
say,
for
I
that.
don't want to eat these grapes. I want to have Oreos. But I got to be LeBron, so I got to eat the grapes. I'm just saying, you have to. Those are decisions that everybody doesn't want to make.
Right.
There's a reason why there's a small difference between the greatest of all time and greats.
But he should be celebrated for making those sacrifices.
I
Imagine
don't-
if Jordan made those sacrifices. We don't know what that would look like. We know what it looks like.
Yeah,
when
he would have won
LeBron's
like
making those
10,000
sacrifices.
championships if he wasn't smoking cigars and spending his nights at the
Michael Jordan.
the table. I mean, he was just great. He was old school great. He would just smoke a cigarette and then go win a
Yeah,
championship.
yeah, of course.
That's,
Yeah.
it's kind of how
Hash
it
it
rolls.
out before you go in.
Look, all I'm saying is Michael Jordan is we call him the ghost because he's untouchable. It's just what it is. You don't play. You play to win championships, right?
What do you think, Chris?
What do you think?
Well, I'll say this about eras. Let me say this first.
Era
When
conversation.
we, you're right. If you take
It's a
LeBron
variable.
James as he was and put him in the 60s, it would be You think Wilt Chamberlain's numbers were out of, this world? I mean, they would be ridiculous. But if you took the superstars of any era, like you take the superstars of the 60s, Wilt Chamberlain, Bill Russell, Bob Cousy, and all them, and give them the benefits that today's players have. Year-round play, weight training, nutritionist, charter flights versus flying commercial, and coach, like a lot of them did. Give them all these benefits, and the superstars of any era, I think, would be at least stars of today. Like Wilt Chamberlain, as he was only 270 pounds back then.
Well, actually,
But
I think
give
they
him
probably
weight
would
training,
be
he'd be
maybe
Shaq.
even better because you're talking about them really being that good based off of pure talents.
Well, they'd
Like
be
the-
better than they were then.
Right.
But I'm not gonna say a Wilt Chamberlain would be better than Shaq necessarily. But I
I
think he
don't
could
think,
be
like,
as
you can't
good.
really
He could
compare
be
Shaq to anyone.
Shaq. Wilt Chamberlain would be Shaq. You take Bob Cousy, and I think he'd be like Steve Nash. If you give him the benefits of everything, or John Stockton or somebody like that.
Okay, so who's better, Jordan or LeBron?
Jordan's better.
Settled.
LeBron, I
It's
think
Chris
Jordan.
Broussard. It's not settled.
Yeah, I think
have his
LeBron
opinion.
is second. I think LeBron is already second. I think he's played more games than Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, many of the all-time greats. So if he got hurt or just decided to retire right now, he's had a full career. So I think he's already been proven himself.
I'm sorry,
to be second
LeBron.
best.
LeBron has to retire, do some other stuff, like just leave us with no one to be tainted the way Michael Jordan has been tainted in my mind.
So do you think LeBron is actually better? And then when he steps away, we'll appreciate him more and say that?
I don't know if he's better, but no, we've never what he's doing, I don't think we've ever seen, and just the durability of it. Like, obviously I didn't watch those players play basketball, so I don't know how injuries affected them. But to watch LeBron go out there and just leave a piece of his hair on the floor every night and just dominate, it's honestly
More than a
inspiring.
piece, right?
Yeah, exactly.
No, listen, I dread the day that LeBron retires,
Yes.
which is why I'm afraid of players like Ben Simmons. And no diss to Ben again. Ben's gonna think I hate him. I love Ben Simmons, but like I dread the day LeBron retires because we need a superstar. Which is why I love Lonzo, because I do think Lonzo is
His capabilities.
I don't know that he's gonna be. They're gonna have to win.
Sure,
Because
but
I don't know if he's
that
ever
next
gonna be
superstar,
as
like
good
we
individually.
need that person, right?
It's interesting.
The league needs that person.
You make a good point because it was looking like it was gonna be Steph. Like he. I mean, a few years ago,
Injuries.
Steph became the face of the league.
Yeah.
Even with LeBron in the league, and then Durant went there, and then like you said, injuries have taken their toll. So if
I think
it's
also
not
people
Steph,
got kind of annoyed with Steph, if we're being honest.
Yeah, but people are annoyed with LeBron. A lot of people get annoyed with him, including you.
Well, I only get annoyed with LeBron. Well, you're right.
I mean, that's part of what you need, right?
Right? No, I love it.
that
I love that.
polarization.
Like, I think that what I get annoyed with LeBron mostly is that he hates being a villain, and I love villains, and I think every industry needs not actual bad guys. Like LeBron is a great guy. I don't mean it like that. I mean like you need somebody to root against. You need storylines, and that is what makes me nervous about LeBron retiring. I agree with you. I think he's the second greatest player of all time, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with second place.
But you're right. When
shade.
LeBron retires, and if Steph can't stay healthy and kind of get magical again like he was a few years ago, you're right. I mean, even though there are a lot of great players, Giannis and Anthony Davis, they're going to be great players. But who's creating the storylines?
You gotta
like
have
LeBron James?
you gotta have that thing that moves people. Like when you look at someone and you're like, I hate that guy. I don't know why I hate his face. I got to do something about how much I hate him. Like that's a good thing to have. It sounds bad, but it's really good. Like if you hate me like that, that's fine.
Maybe it could be Joel
Find more of
Embiid.
them.
Keep watching.
I love
Embiid's
Joel
got
Embiid,
the
though.
charisma.
He does.
Yes, I love Joel Embiid.
But then
He's
you
one
gotta
of
do
my favorites.
you gotta do the winning though. Like
But
you said.
I want one of these good bigs to win a championship, because otherwise, like, it's
No.
not important. Like I want a dominant big to win a championship.
That's I don't think that's.
I think he
It could
can.
happen.
I think. Look, hold on. Here's the thing. LeBron. If I'm LeBron and if I'm leaving Cleveland, I'd love to see him stay in Cleveland. But if I'm LeBron and I'm leaving Cleveland, I'm sorry. Like, for all the Lakers talk, Philly is the place to go.
He's not
Write that
going
down.
to Philly.
Why not? You think he's definitely going to the Lakers?
Okay, let's just be serious. Okay, we're
LeBron's
joking.
very
We're doing the
close
ha-ha
to-
thing. Like we have
to
to be,
Will Smith.
We got to be very serious for a second. Okay. I know everyone is like very high in Philadelphia right now. All right, and I get it. I love Philadelphia. I love people from Philadelphia. I have friends in Philadelphia. I grew up in Pittsburgh. I know Philadelphia very
You
well.
like Liberty Bells,
I like freedom.
cheesesteaks, yeah,
I like America.
electricity.
I do
Benjamin
like
Franklin.
electricity.
The Fresh Prince.
I
You
love
bumping
Fresh
that
Prince.
back in the day.
Okay, there's lots of things about Philly cheesesteaks. Okay,
Perfect.
cheese doesn't affect me. Very important.
Yes. Immune.
Lots of great things about Philadelphia. Okay, we all know a Philadelphia sports fan, so let's just relax on the LeBron is going to Philadelphia for what? He's already in the Eastern
To
Conference.
win.
He can stay in Cleveland. All right, finish out his glorious career in his hometown. Remember, that was a big deal. I'm going home.
You're not
I'm
trusting
going
the
back to
process.
Akron.
You gotta trust the process. LeBron sees the process working. It's not working,
No, it's working.
right?
He ain't going to
The
Philly.
difference is you could win. Now, let me say this too. Remember when there was the
championship.
story?
He's
There
not
was
going
the
to
story.
Philadelphia.
Remember when there was a story that LeBron visited a school in Philadelphia,
Yeah,
and LeBron
it was a
denied
very loose.
it?
It was a very loose report.
He was not there.
Yeah, that's not
He
shocking.
was not at that. That was false.
LeBron look like who's
No, what I was told is that people of LeBron, some of his people went there and visited a school there.
Okay.
So if that's true, then that shows some interest. Look, Philadelphia, I don't even want to say
You
there's
love the
a
school
list.
conversation.
I'm not going to say there's a list. I don't think LeBron has a list. But of the teams he will consider, believe that Philadelphia will be high
Okay, I'm not saying
on-
he's not considering it.
in the
Skip
consideration.
Bayless has a source very close to Pat Riley, who has told him that the decks are cleared for him to come back to Miami, and they've made up.
There's no way he's going back to Miami.
I don't think that there is a way he's going back to Miami either. I'm just saying
biased report.
Because
that.
Philly, think about it.
Wait, I didn't fill my report. Skip said it was his source.
I know.
Skip's been in the business 40 years.
I
don't
know
trust
it
his
'cause you
source,
said it,
But
so.
I'm not gonna allow my my heart to be available to that nonsense.
Right.
Missing that nonsense.
Yeah.
I mean, like obviously,
Until
I'm
he's
sure the
there.
person told Skip that.
Right.
But yeah, I'm not believing that until he says he's going to take us down to South Beach. The point is,
So where you
Back
think
to
he's
South
going?
Beach.
if he leaves Cleveland, which I don't believe he's going to do at this particular moment, I do think if he loses the championship this year, I do think he will. He will leave. If he wins, I think he stays. Because what's the point? Just finish your career.
You might as well stay if you
Just
win.
finish your career there. But
Because winning, let me not to cut you off. Winning in Cleveland, you want to talk about the GOAT conversation. If he can win, even if it's Houston, even if Golden State is banged up, if he wins this title with this kind of group of role players and Kevin Love in Cleveland, that is the type of championship that gets you closer to Michael Jordan. And if you could do it again, because then even though, look, the 5 losses in the finals, if LeBron can win 5, those 5 losses won't be held against him, because then it'll look like, but he's there all the time. I mean, Magic Johnson is 5-4 in the finals, and nobody looks at the 4 losses.
Right.
Then you would start to argue, okay, he didn't go undefeated, but he got there 4 more times than Jordan.
His one
He
Cleveland
kept getting
championship was impressive.
Yes.
AF. Like the one he won in Cleveland.
Of course,
Let's not forget about
Of course,
that.
I don't think
So
anyone forgot that he won
in
there.
Cleveland are the type of rings.
No, I agree.
where
I
it's
agree.
like, oh,
and I
man.
also think if he leaves, then it also kind of feeds into that conversation that he was always going somewhere to get more help and blah, blah, blah. And Michael Jordan would never leave, and I agree with that. But the point is, if he's going to leave, like, he's going to the Lakers.
Why, though?
Because if you're
want
going
him to
to
go,
leave,
too.
here's why.
I want him to go there.
Here's why.
I just don't
you
see
don't want
why.
him to?
I know. I want him. Come
want him
here.
to
Oh,
Come
yeah,
to
of
the
course.
Lakers.
Of course.
Come here.
Hello,
Come
we live
to
here.
LA.
I want to know why.
Okay,
Because
couple
unless
reasons.
if he wants to win, I don't think the Lakers
Couple
is the
reasons.
place.
Selfishly, because I'm speaking it into existence like LeVar Ball. Because if he leaves Cleveland, then I can enjoy LeBron again, and I would very much like to do that because it's very annoying having to root against LeBron all the time.
Right.
So you would start rooting for him?
I wouldn't necessarily root for LeBron,
you would.
but I
So
would.
your whole demeanor
I would.
on
I would
Undisputed
be
would
open.
change.
I would be. I would be open to yes.
You would
'cause I would be
move to
open
Shannon's
him.
side
No,
on
I'm
the
not
LeBron
saying. I'm not
argument.
saying. But I would be more open to LeBron success because he's not in Cleveland. I can't root for LeBron while he's in Cleveland. I
You
just
know
can't.
that's one of my hometowns.
I know
got
it's one
many.
of your hometowns.
Why you
Yeah.
dissing Cleveland?
Pittsburgh is
Cleveland's a
Pittsburgh
great
is one of
sa-
my
great
hometowns.
town.
As in, I
It's
grew
better
up
than
there.
Pittsburgh.
It is stop it. I was
quote
just,
card.
the Rock
I was
and Roll
recently
Hall of
in
Fame.
Cleveland.
That one.
Okay.
We have some type of aquarium.
Okay. We
Yes.
also
Yes.
have an
I
aquarium.
haven't been there.
Pittsburgh Zoo.
Not every city has an
The
aquarium.
zoo.
We
I
don't
got
have,
the
we
Rock
don't
and
have,
Roll
we have
Hall
the
of Fame.
Andy
You got a
Warhol
zoo.
Museum. Anyway, the point is,
Cleveland
if
had
LeBron
Levert.
leaves Cleveland, I can root for LeBron again. And I would like to do that because that's
Casanova.
annoying. It's annoying to have to root against LeBron all the time because he's very good. So personally, I would like him to leave.
Wait a minute, Chris.
And then
Go ahead,
second, more importantly, and more realistically and more
Yes.
sportsy and not selfish, not that I care, is that if he is going to leave Cleveland and leave behind that legacy of I'm coming home and hometown boy and save the city and all this stuff, why would you go anywhere other than Hollywood? Like, where are you gonna go? Houston?
Yeah.
Okay, like that's cute. For what? People are only gonna accuse you of ring chasing. If you go to Philadelphia, while I do think that they have the capability to win and be good, you're still in the Eastern Conference, so you're still gonna have that knock against you. You will have
but that's
you'll
easier
have
to get to the finals.
You'll have Cleveland again.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so now you've bounced around to between 3 different Eastern Conference teams. People will still say that you're just joining younger superstars to try and win a championship. If you come to LA, at least people can get behind, okay, you're towards the end of your career, you're branding yourself into the next phase of your life, Hollywood, see what Kobe did,
Wilt
you've got
and
Magic
Lakers.
Johnson, you've got Lonzo and a young team. Like, I don't even think the expectations would be for him to win another championship. It would just be like, okay, this is the fun version of LeBron
Right.
where he plays carefree and he's just branding into a new era of his career and persona. That's
that.
that's
You-
to
you-
me.
you-
That's the only reason why you would
love
even
that.
leave Cleveland.
You make a good argument because, and what it comes down to is what's going to be his motivation. When LeBron sits in the mirror and says, "What's my motivation?"
Right.
What is it to? You're right. If he wants to, because he's already Hollywood to some degree. He's
Yeah,
already
for
a
sure.
business mogul. But if he really wants to fully start branding himself or rebranding himself as this Hollywood guy, then yeah, that could happen. But if he wants to win, if his goal is still the GOAT, I want to be the GOAT, and he knows it's going to take championships. His individual numbers are going to be, they're going to dwarf Michael Jordan's just because
Probably.
of the longevity.
Right.
Right.
Okay. So if he can add more rings to that, if he's thinking, I want to be the GOAT, I got to win more championships, I think Philadelphia is the place to go. If you make a great point, if it's lifestyle, if it's rebranding, if it's I just want to have fun and I'm not so much into the championships anymore, then I think LA would be.
Well,
And
that's
you still could be good because he'd probably go there with Paul George. So you still have a chance to win championships. But if you go to Philly, he could carry them to, because I think they have the length with Ben Simmons, LeBron, Joel Embiid, Dario Saric is 6'10". Robert Covington is 6'9", 6'8". They would have length, they'd have shooting, they have the big. They could challenge Golden State because look at the teams that have challenged them over the past. San Antonio, when they play big. Memphis used to give them trouble when they went big with Zach Randolph, Marcus Hall. When Cleveland beat them in 2016, they played slower and bigger. So they would have the formula in Philadelphia to beat them. And then as LeBron aged, Simmons and Embiid could kind of carry him maybe to more titles.
Torch passing.
Like Magic did with Kareem as Kareem got older. So theoretically, it's not out of the question. If LeBron went to Philly last year, and John Hill is loving this. I see him smile. He's from Philly. If LeBron went to Philadelphia, I don't think a championship next year is out of the question. So let's just
Wow.
enter.
True.
I can't think of the phrase, but flatter me. Is that how you say flatter me?
yeah.
or whatever?
Humor you.
Humor me. There you go.
I
Humor
like
me.
humor. Yeah. That's what-
Let's say LeBron wins a championship next year in Philadelphia. Let's say he wins 2 out of 3 years in Philadelphia. That gives him 5, assuming he doesn't win it this year. And then he's still pretty good, but not what he used to be. He's maybe a top 10, top 15 player, but he's still playing well. And Simmons and Embiid hitting their prime.
Right.
And they carrying LeBron, but he's still giving you 20 points. So he's not like a role player now, but they help him get 2 more. Now you're talking about 7 rings.
Oh my God.
I'm getting, but 7. I'm going out
is
there.
it the
I
Western
said
Conference? They're
humor
playing
me.
against the Western
I said-
Conference? Or?
I said humor me.
They're not there.
Embiid and I've said this before, but I'm saying it on maybe I'm crazy. Embiid,
we do allow that.
Embiid and Ben Simmons will be all-time greats if they stay healthy. All-time greats. Where they rank, I don't know, but they will be all-time greats. So if LeBron could get 7 rings, he's lost 5. He's been to 12 finals. He's got, I mean,
Look,
I'm going way out there. I know I'm going way out there.
7 rings, okay. He is the greatest basketball player of all time.
He don't even need 7.
I will submit that.
No matter where he goes.
No,
if
if he wins 7 rings, I mean, come on. Yes. Okay.
I'm out there, but let's
listen.
go back to
we allow insanity around
maybe
here.
I'm
And
crazy.
we encourage it. Okay?
I went a long way.
You stretch,
but I'm just saying, if he can win big in Philly, that's all I'm saying.
I feel you.
That's why
I don't disagree. I just think that my argument makes more sense.
No, it makes a lot of sense.
It depends entirely on
motivation.
what LeBron wants to do. That's why I think if LeBron doesn't win this year, his motivations will change, because then he is going to be 3-6 in the finals. That's a lot to overcome. He's going to have to win 7,000 rings, as you just mentioned, to even be in the conversation. So why not just get the longevity numbers and enjoy playing in Los Angeles? That's all I'm saying.
If he wins any ring on the bench like Juwan Howard did for the Heat, does that count still?
Yes.
It does?
I don't know.
No.
I love Juwan Howard. Though. Yeah, I do. All right. Thank you so much for joining us, Chris. We appreciate it. I will return the favor and be on your podcast.
Thank you.
Even though you did
not,
even though you did not
I'll
ask
talk
me.
to John Hill so we can work
Even
it
though you
out.
did not ask me.
We'll be there.
Yes.
We'll be there.
But be sure to check
And
out.
I do think you guys are crazy.
Thank you. We think that's
appreciate it.
compliment.
Ain't
Check out
Y'all get
Chris's
rid of the maybe.
podcast, In the Zone podcast, on all of our platforms as well. Thanks, Chris.
Enjoyed it.
In or out? Am I in or out?
What am I in or out on today?
Per the NCAA's Twitter, President Mark Emmert had this to say about the current state of college athletics. I'm going to let this play out loud. Is that okay, Joy?
Yes.
Help those understand all this talk about got to pay the males. What happens to the women?
Well, I think, again, you got to remember this is in the context of higher education. These are educational universities and colleges that are conducting these games, and you have to abide by the educational laws of the United States. You've got to provide women with the same opportunities and support that men receive. If you were going to pay salaries to male athletes, you'd have to do the same thing for female athletes, and you'd have to come up with some explanation to the federal government as to why you would possibly not do it for one group versus another, and I think that's completely untenable. I think the other issue is that if you were going to move into a model where you were just paying football and basketball athletes, that's the argument that always comes forward, the way athletic departments are going to do that is they're going to eliminate other sports, and there's really no other way for them to do it. Yeah, if you just looked at the revenue from football, you might be able to figure out how to pay football players, but you would eliminate all the other sports that are out there in order to do that and take away opportunities from men and women.
Okay, so he said a lot there.
Yes.
He got all the right plugs in: higher education, educational law, student athletes, a model, untenable, which is a big word that I wasn't sure about what it meant.
Throw a word in there.
Had to give it a little Google.
Mad Libs.
Here's the thing. First of all, did you even ask me what I'm in or out on? No, I jumped ahead. What am I in or out on here?
Are you in or out on what Mark Emmert is saying?
No, I'm out on what he's saying.
Yes,
so thank you for the tee up.
Okay.
Yeah. Look, every year we go through the same thing with the NCAA, and we do it throughout the year for various reasons. And in general, it tends to come up during the March Madness because we see an insane amount of advertising, and we see the revenue, and we get to see all these kids having their dreams realized and crushed. And then we start talking about the NBA draft, and the conversation always comes up of, should we be paying these kids? And look, the fact of the matter is it's not the girls' fault that we're not paying student athletes.
Right.
So there's a really cute spin that Mark Emmert tried to put on it there. It's perfectly reasonable that we'd have to pay the women the same amount as the men, so therefore we can't pay anybody.
Yep.
Broads.
Hot.
He did not say that, obviously. But
That's the tone.
I mean, it's ridiculous. If you really
read
listen to what
between
he
the
just said,
lines.
it's ridiculous. Like,
Right.
you have to explain to the you have to come up with some explanation
Right.
you'd have to, this is a quote,
Yes.
you would have to come up with some explanation to the federal government as why you would possibly not do it for one group versus another. And I think that's completely untenable, that big word, which means not sustainable. You've got to provide the women with the same opportunities that support that some men receive. I mean, give me a GD break.
Yeah.
All right. With this, the whole there's women athletes, so now there's not enough money to go around.
Right.
I was like, well, it's perfectly good excuse, you know. I mean, if we let the women vote, then there's more votes to count.
like
We'll
if I
never
tell-
get another president. So who's going to count all these extra ballots from the
So
women?
if we tell them
If
we'll
we
pay
let
the
the
women,
women vote, we're not going to be able to eat because the kitchens will be empty. Who will make the food for the people that have to count the ballots if the women are voting?
It is very, very telling that his excuse for why we can't pay amateur athletes through the NCAA is, well, you want to pay girls too? You guys? Oh, okay. You want to pay athletes? You want to pay the girls
You want
too?
to pay the girls too? I didn't like. I said we pay the girls. There's not enough money to
so
go
chill
around.
out, everyone. Relax.
I mean, if we let the women play the sports, then who
There's
who will
something-
make the babies?
There's something.
I like
If we
of
pay
all-
women for the sports, who's going to have the kids in college?
Right. And eventually, the human race will stop existing because there will be no more pregnant women
So
making
good.
the babies to play the sports.
The NCAA putting this video out in itself is so crazy. Like,
Ugh, I rarely get triggered. That's a
who's
lie.
running these
I'm
accounts?
always triggered about everything. But this is truly an extra special step towards the nonsense that is paying student athletes. Like, first of all, I don't actually believe that there is a sustainable model for paying athletes as far as just giving them a salary. Like
Right.
that eliminates amateurism. I get it. But this idea that there's just no way we can come up with any system where we could
Crazy.
possibly compensate athletes for, I don't know, using their likeness or, selling their jerseys and then they can't even keep their jerseys, or I don't know, the fact that scholarships are really 1-year deals and not this 4-year guaranteed contract that everybody thinks is going on. Or I don't know, the fact that you don't have any time to go get a summer job and you can't take $50 from a booster to go buy some pizza because your card ran out of money at the cafeteria. Like, I don't dismiss me with this idea that you can get you can bring in $1 billion and there's no way that you can find some sort of system to pay people. And as far as like how will we pay everybody? We'll have to pay the girls too. Who will make the babies?
now he didn't say that
He
on wax.
didn't say it on.
He said it with his eyes,
I thought it was just the whole
with
look.
his hair. He said
The hair, the look is like very,
Right.
It's the red hat.
Yeah.
Make
oh,
red
yeah,
hats
yeah,
great
yeah,
again.
yeah. It's in his back pocket.
Look, miss me with it, okay?
Yeah.
Like,
Well-
NCAA has done more than their share of stealing my trust for their credibility. But this one, it was like an extra special take the cake, super hot take of why you can't pay people what you need to pay them. And then, of course, like this idea that this is all scandalous. We were recently talking about the Fab Five and honoring the Fab Five. They didn't even win a championship. So all this struggle of paying student athletes and boosters and allegedly agents and allegedly shoe companies, like whatever. I'm just tired with this idea that there's actual pure amateurism. Just go somewhere with that. Like, it's really about the sport and it's higher education.
Any college athlete, football or basketball, that experienced true amateurism while in college under the NCAA simply isn't ready for the National Football League or the NBA.
Nope. And look, of course, most of these student athletes are not going to go professional. Like, we know it's basically 1%.
Right.
Across the board.
5%
Baseball's
go
a
to
little
enterprise.
higher, but baseball has a pretty good system. What did you say?
5% go to enterprise afterwards.
Fine.
Yeah,
Okay.
they'll pick you up.
Well, is Enterprise a very good company?
Yeah, of course. No shade.
No, absolutely not.
That's where they go.
I'm just saying, like, you've got basically an $11 billion deal the NCAA does with CBS and Turner for the NCAA tournament. It's a lot of money. $11 billion. $11 billion, the B.
That's a lot more than I thought.
Yeah, here's a suggestion.
Yeah.
This is just like off the top of my head. I gave this no thought. If you want to find a tier for how to pay everyone, including the broads, maybe you can just find a way.
Can't respond to that.
No, you don't have Just find a way that like maybe you grade like I don't know. Do they keep books or anything like accounting perhaps, and see
Possibly.
which sport brings in a certain amount of money, like tickets, parking, the popcorns, the hot doggies, you know, and the beverages.
Hot chocolate if it's Notre Dame.
Maybe, possibly, if it's cold.
Yes.
Jerseys, all those things that they bring in the monies. And then you do some accounting, and you see, like, okay, this is how much this sport made. And then you just do it all the way down. And then you find a tier system that pays them accordingly, because that's fair. So I'm a woman. I feel like that's fair. I'm not delusional, despite my lady brain. I understand that like the men's football team brings in more than the women's lacrosse team. Like, okay, and we understand like that major sport supports the lower sports, because that was this other argument, like it's going to eliminate other sports. Like, no, it doesn't have to eliminate other sports if you just make it fair. But if you want to like distract us with the women to take away from the idea that like there is an actual reasonable way to compensate athletes for their likeness and their time and energy and the service that they provide to the NCAA and to these colleges without bringing up the fact that women have to make the same amount of money as men. It's
insane. They already have something in order. It's called Title IX. It's one of the reasons why when Brian Kelly first got to Notre Dame, we didn't have training table. We were only one of the only football programs that didn't. And their argument was, well, if you give football players a training table, the fencing team has to get it. Shouts out them back-to-back national championships. But it's like, okay, do it then. That was Coach Kelly said. He walked in with a list of deadlines. We got training table. We had it at football practice, and the rest of the student athletes had it at the cafeteria. It's not that hard. Like, you just got to do it. You have to want to be fair. Title IX is there for it to be fair. Yeah,
but the point is that you threw Title IX out there like that's the reason why it's not fair. Like, no one is expecting anybody to be compensated the same as everybody else. Like, if that's your argument for why it can't happen, like you're just distracting us with like they're getting a free education, which is just nonsense. How will the babies be made if we're not counting the women's soccer team cleat costs?
Yeah. That's a cost that needs to be counted.
What will happen to all the vegetables that need cooking?
Okay, there you go.
All right, what else?
Okay, so we mentioned this earlier. The NCAA National Championship was not a close game. This guy with his crazy name, Dante. It's just Dante. Long division.
It's Dante DiVincenzo.
Okay, Dante DiVincenzo dropped 31 and led Villanova in scoring while also being a ginger.
He's a gender? He is a gender, in fact, also. If you believe in that. I don't necessarily believe in that.
That's what happens when you read. As always, Jay Wright, who led the Wildcats in handsomeness, is the leading story.
Did he lead the Wildcats in handsomeness or the entire NCAA?
Yeah, he might lead Philly.
Or all of sports.
He might lead Philly in handsomeness. Who else is pushing him? Rocky? I think not.
No.
Carson Wentz?
I mean,
Napoleon? No, exactly. Now,
you're confusing
Nova.
Nick Foles and Carson Wentz.
Yes. Oh, my gosh.
It's understandable. Nick Foles, Super Bowl champ.
Yes, of course. Yeah. He's the MVP.
All right, so what am I in or out on?
Nova now has 2 titles in 3 years. Joy, are you in or out on the Villanova Dynasty?
I mean, I guess I'm in on their dynasty. Yeah. Like, you can't really argue with the success of it. It's just they're just the most boring team on the face of the planet. And that's not a dig. Like, great, congrats, Villanova.
I just
it's the lowest overnight ratings in the history of the NCAA championship.
No, it was on the background like a episode of Law and Order SVU.
And I think, how dare you?
I'm just saying. I was like, when I pay attention, I get it.
Riveting television.
It is.
First of all,
so was the national championship game.
No, that was not a riveting national championship game by anyone's standards.
I'm saying it was on in the background.
I don't even think Villanova fans would agree that was a riveting national championship game.
I was accidentally watching it on the wrong broadcast, and I was like, "Who are these 2 goons doing this?" You were
watching the game cast?
It was on like was it TBS versus TNT? I had to switch over at halftime.
It's as if you don't even watch sports. Anyway, look, it wasn't a great game. Like, DiVincenzo doesn't know how to use Twitter properly. Like, it's great. Like, I wasn't into it. Like, I got to be honest with you. I tried. I watched it, but it was a snore fest. And I don't know what's going to happen next year because they have a lot of the same kids coming back, and it's very hard to get like to back-to-back championships, obviously. But I will say though, Jay Wright does not get the respect he deserves because he's too handsome, and that happens when you are too good-looking. Sometimes people don't take you seriously. He has to understand that. He has more national championships than Boeheim, Calipari. or Calipari, whatever your tomato.
Yeah.
Izzo, like he's a legit all-time great coach, but the suits distract everyone from his greatness. I'm not joking. Like
listen,
people don't take Jay Wright seriously because of what he looks like.
Because he's handsome?
Yes.
He's like a long-faced George Clooney?
He is the George Clooney of sports.
I'm down with that. Listen, all I know is I'm a FS1 Fox Sports company man, and Villanova's keeping the Big East interesting. Or it's the only good team in the Big East?
I don't know what you're saying, but congrats to
we got the Big East
Villanova,
on
congrats to
FS1.
Jay Wright, and I guess Dante. Although we'll see, but the jury's still out on how that's going to play out.
Okay, let's move on. So Josh Rosen is probably going to be the face of a franchise by the end of this month. Jim Mora, his coach at UCLA, can't seem
Also
to
a
keep.
friend of Fox.
Yes,
Jim Mora.
yeah,
Seen
he's
her often?
he's on. There
Nice
was
guy.
last time he was on Undisputed, something weird happened.
I don't remember.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. Well, shout out on NFL Network.
Yeah, shout out to NFL Network. He can't. Jim Mora can't seem to keep his former quarterback's name out of his mouth. Jim Mora said he's a millennial. He wants to know why. Millennials, once they know why, they're good. Coming from a millennial sounds a little bit like a sneak diss. Joy, are you in or out on millennials?
Well, okay.
Talk to me.
First of all, I'm in on millennials, sure, because I am a millennial, a millennium, if you will.
Technically. By the book.
Technically,
Yes.
By the chart I have here provided by Ashley.
Ashley chart. I like to call
An
it.
Ashley chart. Born in 1997 through 1994. I fall at 87. So therefore, I'm in that category
90
of a
for me.
millennial. First of all, with the whole thing starting with what Jim Mora said, I gotta say, like, Jim Mora is a nice guy. I think he gets it. Every time he says something that even can possibly be misconstrued as something negative, you just want to avoid that. It just looks like sour grapes. Like
Right.
it is a kid trying to make it in the NFL. He said that Sam Darnold should be picked #1 overall, which maybe in a roundabout way, like who knows, conspiracy theory. Josh Rosen doesn't want to go to Cleveland, so maybe he's like sent the coach a little text like, "Hey, I want to say Sam Darnold
Yeah,
#1.
yeah.
Like I think I'm making money up somewhere else.
Right.
I don't want to go #1 overall to Cleveland." Which I don't blame him. But that's just a theory I just came up with because I don't like Cleveland. But more importantly, you can't throw shade at the quarterback. You can't throw it at the kid. Like if he says nothing, the best thing is just say nothing. Like if you say something good, people are going to say, "Oh, like he's a former coach, of course he's going to say something good." If you say something bad, they're going to overanalyze it and take it to heart. So the best thing is just say nothing.
Yeah, Brian Kelly did this last year with Deshaun Kaiser. He ended up going to the Browns anyways. So
Yeah, well,
you can't save yourself
you can't
from
save
the
him from the Browns.
Yeah.
So I don't like that he's saying something negative about Josh Rosen. I don't care about like Josh Rosen in particular. I don't really think any of the quarterbacks outside of Baker Mayfield are really that great.
Yeah. I mean, I will watch Lamar Jackson play just in case he does something.
I like Lamar
When he
Jackson.
plays, yeah.
I think he's a little too wiry for the NFL.
Right.
But we'll see. Who knows? Nobody knows.
I don't like this millennial hate though.
Yeah. So more importantly, forget all that draft nonsense.
Yeah, whatever.
I guess I'm over this millennial thing. Like it's the new trendy thing to say, like blame everything on millennials. Last I checked, I did not create the whole no zone. That wasn't my fault. Okay, y'all were the ones that wanted to have all this exhaust and stuff and like dig all these oil holes and stuff. I don't remember digging any oil holes. Okay, I don't remember fighting. My generation, our generation is the one that wants there to be like stuff to save the environment.
Yeah.
Okay, I used to recycle.
Yeah, our generation is really big on equality.
Very big on equality.
Crazy concept.
I know.
Will never happen.
The NCAA just is not into it. I don't like the millennial hate. And I don't even understand the millennial hate. I didn't grow up. I remember when there was no internet. I remember waking up like, what do I do today? There's no internet.
Mm-hmm.
I remember when my mom was like, you don't know what that means? Go look it up in the encyclopedia.
Mm-hmm. Remember having to go outside?
Yes. I spent most of my childhood outside, actually. Building forts, climbing trees, digging holes, breaking things, fighting people.
Yeah.
With my hands.
And you would ask, remember you have to ask when the internet did come out, it was like, no one's going to be on the phone? No one's expecting a call?
Yeah. So for those of you who don't
30
understand
minutes?
how this works, for your little whippersnappers out there, you couldn't just get on the internet.
Right.
Ain't no phone. The phone is plugged into the wall, and if you want to use the internet, no one can use the phone. And if someone decides, hey, I do want to use the phone, they pick it up, and your internet's over.
Oh, yeah, that's
And then in order to get on the internet,
Ain't no sneaking on the internet.
No.
The whole house knew you was getting on that
slide
thing.
chat, right? And then you had the AOL CD thing that you put in,
Oh my gosh.
right? Who remembers LimeWire?
Oh, LimeWire. Oh my gosh. How many times I accidentally downloaded a Lil Wayne mixtape when it was just like a commercial that just was mistitled?
You had to type in the exact title.
And sometimes you like this. Oh, this file ain't big enough. This ain't the
Yeah,
song.
exactly.
This
No,
ain't
it's not the song. It's not the song. It's not the song.
Right.
Yeah. So I don't like. I remember what it was like to have a little like thing with all the phone numbers written on it,
Oh, my
answering
gosh.
machines.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have a question.
Yes.
How do people used to be players with answering machines? Because if you were like me, like you're
Ooh.
trying to be a player, you got the answering machine right. You're trying to unplug
Yes.
the answering machine while
Yes.
I'm there. Like what? I would notice something like that. Obviously, I was too young for this, but like I'd be like, "Yo, why are you unplugging your answering machine?"
I remember. I know what it is. Remember? Pagers. Remember beepers? You
Yeah,
could
of
just,
course.
But you can just page, and so he would just, you could just look at the.
Wait, but
I'm
how
not
do
gonna say who
how
I
do
know
you prevent
did
someone
this.
from calling you because it just like bring, like there was no silence.
I know, but you would tell him
It
to
was
call
loud,
the pager,
ring,
and then he'll
you
call
don't.
you.
But then
You'll
if you,
call
but
them.
you, what if you have too many to like keep track of? And then they call and then they leave a message like, "Hey, what's up?
Pen pals
We hanging
existed
out
back
again?"
then.
We used to write notes. There's
Hello
no texting
letters.
during school. You had to write a note,
Ooh.
and you had to sign it.
Them
okay?
notes.
And then you had to fold it in a specific way,
Mm-hmm.
so that it was like passable in the halls.
Remember when you were expecting a note and then you didn't get one because somebody wanted to do classwork when
Remember
they were supposed to write
when
you a
you
note?
were supposed to, you gave your note to someone to give to someone, and they
Oh.
read it.
Oh, hell no. Remember you gave somebody a note and they didn't read it
Catch
in that
all
class
the
period?
smokes. Catch all the smokes. Okay. Anyway, the point is
Yes.
off the millennial hate. Okay.
Yes.
We had to work hard for everything that we have.
Yeah. You know, we're drinking
I'm
coffee
over
through a
it.
straw right now. Come on.
I'm over it.
Living real hard.
What else?
Working smarter, not harder.
Exactly. Exactly.
Over the weekend, a video emerged of LA Rams all-world defensive tackle Aaron Donald attempting to spice up his little traditional standard reaction drills with some butcher knives. Everyone was so impressed by Donald's use of weaponry while he was training. Joy, are you in or out on this cutting-edge workout?
I'm very out on it, and the most important thing, and I got to be careful because his trainer is Pittsburgh based.
Yes.
Shout out 412.
Yes. Dwayne is the
Dwayne
name.
is it? I think it's Dwayne.
Okay, I read it Dwayne.
Dwayne Brown of 2/10 speed. I did notice they were training at the UPMC Center.
Yes, yeah. they're in the-
Look, here's the thing. First of all, this video is made for the internet dummies, and
Yes.
if you're one of those people that thought that those were real knives, I have news for you. You're an internet dummy.
Sorry about that.
Yeah.
Heller.
Yeah. John Heller, one of our producers, is an internet dummy because he loves this video.
Yeah.
There's nothing impressive about it because it's not real knives.
No.
You want to fight? Here.
Outside of it. Not even only there's real knives. He told you
I'm
where he's
coming over
coming.
top.
Over top.
Coming
bottom,
over side.
top, side. It's
Chop.
internet. He's interneting. He's interneting for the internets. Was he sweating? There's these off-season drills are so crazy for football players. We're supposed to like act like that.
I get it. You're trying to get the likes, okay? You're trying to get the double clicks.
I'll say this though: Aaron Donald didn't post it. Dwayne did.
Dwayne, okay. He
So
posted it.
Aaron Donald wouldn't have posted that crap because he knows
because
it's not
Aaron
a real
Donald's
football.
a real one.
Yeah.
Like, I understand him doing the drill because,
Yeah.
I have fun. We'll do the little knife drill,
Yes.
whatever. But these are not real knives, so therefore I'm not impressed. Do it with real knives.
No, it was dumb. They
Don't
look-
do it with real knives because that's nonsense. Okay, but the point is, don't post a video with fake knives and ask me for likes. I'm not giving you likes on that. This is the equivalent of like everybody knows that everyone tries like a little goofy off-season training thing, right?
Yes.
Like somebody's gonna get into yoga, someone's gonna get way too into Pilates and
Snacks
swear
is
by
changing
it.
up his diet.
Snacks has decided he's not eating food anymore.
Right.
Like
Crazy.
everybody's going to do a different thing and ask everyone to be impressed by it, right?
Yes.
Although I do think that Snacks is very serious about himself.
he could
But that's the thing,
be a sack
right?
leader now.
But so everyone already knows that, and you can post it, and that's fine. But this is like the equivalent of like everyone knows everyone photoshops their pictures. Like, it's,
Yes.
oh, you're like the person who doesn't photoshop your picture. Cool, like you're a hipster. Oh, you don't look natural. Good for you.
Yeah.
See how
Oh,
that
you
works
never
out?
touched Photoshop? Oh, yeah, I'm sure. Yeah.
Okay, but you post the picture, and you're standing next to the wall, and the wall has a squiggle in it because we all know you made your butt bigger.
Yeah. I go in there and make my teeth whiter.
Yeah, of course. You gotta
yeah.
do that.
Gotta come on
Hello.
now. Can't go out
So
there
like
with my real
everyone
teeth.
knows that, right? But like you can't post the picture with the bubble thing. Like you're
Yeah.
posting the videos with the fake knives. I'm supposed to give you a like for that?
No.
You get no likes for that.
You get unliked for that.
Also,
Go
this
on.
this is a perfect. I do like this though because this is a perfect opportunity to tell my favorite Jack Del Rio story of all time.
You have another. You have a second favorite Jack Del Rio story?
No, I do not. Actually.
Okay. Just clarifying.
So my only Jack Del Rio story, but it's a favorite story of mine. Brett Romberg, shout out Brett Romberg. He was in this locker room when this occurred. Not when the actual thing occurred, I think, but like he knew of this stump. So Jack Del Rio had a great idea, similar to the stupid knife training thing, which was to put a tree stump and an axe in the middle of the locker room. What could go wrong?
How does that work?
The point is, he had a mantra: keep chopping wood. When Brett first told me the story, I was like, I know how this ends. Someone cuts their GD foot off,
Yes.
right? Because what else could possibly happen with a stump and
What
axe
locker room is
in a
this?
locker room? Jags locker room, 2003. And of course, Chris Hansen, the Jags punter, missed the stump and took a gash in his right non-kicking leg. It's my favorite Jack Del Rio story of all time.
So
Because that happens. How do you not just go, wow, most predictable outcome ever of this giant
right.
axe
Yes.
in the middle, a stump in the middle of a locker room where they literally the sprinkler systems don't even have water, it's just testosterone that pours out of the ceiling.
Yes. I can tell you some position groups that were not hacking away at the wood. Running backs for one.
Zero
DBs.
sense. It's so stupid. All right, what's next?
Okay. Tiger Woods is still in the headlines.
Tiger's back.
And back on the leaderboard. The good. Top 15 finishes in the last 3 events. The bad. Tabloid drama with his recent ex. The ugly. This is all happening right before the Masters. Joy, are you in or out on Tiger Woods being golf's savior again?
I am in on this.
Really?
I am in on Tiger Woods being back.
You're soft in. I don't know if you're all the way in.
Look, I don't think he's going to win. Okay, let's just be serious. I want it to happen because I love a good comeback story. Okay.
Yes. Even with Tiger? Okay. The sarcasm?
No. There's it's 3 people on the internet will get that and they'll enjoy that one.
Okay.
I
Shouts out y'all. Dedicated.
I think John Hill just got it. Just takes a while.
Okay.
You know,
Okay.
let it simmer.
All right,
It's been
down.
13 years since Tiger's last Masters win.
Oh, comeback story.
It's you got it?
Okay, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Green Jackets.
So yes, Green Jackets. It's been a rough go for Tiger, right? He had a DUI last year. He thought he was in California. He was not. Other coast.
Yes. He was in Florida.
Although in his defense, there is an Orange County in Florida,
Yes.
so maybe he thought he was there.
There's a lot of things in Florida that shouldn't be there.
It's
Like the people.
Florida's a special place. Here's my thing on Tiger, and now unfortunately because you've got the whole thing with his ex. It's a new thing. Like here's a note for you guys. If someone signs a non-disclosure, you can take the non-disclosure, you can hold it over a fire, and you can watch it disintegrate because that's what it's worth, really.
Really?
Yes. Have you heard of Stormy Daniels? Very famous adult entertainer.
I've heard of her.
Yes, I believe she
Yes.
signed some sort of paperwork that says she can't talk about.
She's hosting 60 Minutes.
She does host 60 Minutes now.
Yeah.
You're right. She
Yeah.
is the host of 60 Minutes. Stormy
Yeah.
Daniels. Yes. Look, like his girlfriend's ex-girlfriend is trying to jump on the Tiger's back bandwagon.
Mm-hmm.
You know, whatever you think about that. Here's the bottom line on Tiger. I don't care about what Tiger does in his private life. I've never cared. I find the Tiger Woods story to be the most truly offensive, hypocritical BS the sports world has ever tried to push on me.
Interesting. Why?
Okay, first of all, why do I care what Tiger Woods does in his private life? Why do I care? Is he killing someone? Is he harming someone? Is he stealing from someone? Is he directly harming his children? Like, I guess you could argue that, but like, I don't know, man. I just don't care about how Tiger Woods is as a husband. I don't know what that has to do with how he plays golf and why I care about him as a golfer.
Yeah, I'm trying to push myself. Even if he does do those things, I don't know if I care either.
I don't care. I've never cared. I don't care if Tiger Woods is a loyal husband. And quite frankly, like, miss me with this whole idea that like golf is some like prestigious, like squeaky clean sport. You didn't even let black people on the course at Augusta, or women for that matter, for I don't know what, since like 3 years ago, whatever it was.
The gentlemen only, ladies forbidden is like the popular acronym for golf.
So you guys are like the high and mighty, right?
Yeah.
Like the whole argument was that Tiger portrayed himself as a good husband. duh.
Yeah.
Like,
What else-
what
what
is
else
the
you gonna do?
other option?
Yeah.
What's the alternative to that?
Right.
What are you talking about?
Right.
And why do you care? Like, so what? First of all, what did you think was happening? Like, I'm not one of those people that's like all athletes are like cheaters and liars and whatever. Like, that's obviously not the case. But give me a break with this whole like holding Tiger Woods to the same standard that we hold our deacon to or something. Give me a break.
Yeah, he's
all
not
right?
the Pope.
He's not the Pope. Forget the Pope. We don't
Right.
even have to have the clergyman in it. He's not your neighbor Bob, okay? He's Tiger Woods. He's one of the most famous athletes
It's
that
been
has ever
Tiger Woods for a
existed on the
minute.
history of planet Earth.
Right.
There will never be another Tiger Woods.
Yeah.
Therefore, stop holding Tiger to the same standards that you hold yourself to and your buddies to or your wife's cousin. Because I don't care. All right. I don't care what you do with your private life. I don't care what Tiger Woods does with his private life. And quite frankly, you don't care what Tiger Woods does with his private life. You just wanted to talk about it because it was salacious and there was Perkins waitresses and porn stars. Okay. I get it. It's exciting. It's good gossip. All right.
Double
But the
Ps.
fact of the matter is we took down Tiger. Okay, let me be clear. I didn't take down Tiger. Y'all took down Tiger, and
Right.
then you wanted to bring him all the way down to the ground, which is what we love to do. We have these superstars, and we got to like grind them into the ground to the
Right.
point where they lose their mind, and then we can build them back up, and it's like a comeback story. How about you just like let Tiger Woods live his life?
Yeah, leave him alone. If he wants to play golf, he'll play golf. Talk about it then.
If Tiger Woods wants to have sex with whoever he wants to have sex with consensually, I do not care what he does. I don't care. There's nothing you could tell me that can make me care.
I wish I could agree, but yeah, I understand what you're saying.
Okay, but it's just so hypocritical that now everyone's like, yeah,
Yeah.
Tiger's back. Like, Tiger never had to leave, bro.
Right.
You never had to go anywhere.
Right.
You didn't have to take Tiger down. Y'all chose to do that.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry. I thought it was like bro code around here. And all of a sudden you're like, oh, I don't do that. Like, Maryland, I would never. When we go golfing, we have the orange juice. I have a scotch. I've never had a scotch on the golf course in my life.
Oh man.
Maryland. I mean, look at what we wear. We wear these polos. You're not even allowed in sweatpants.
Tucked in
It
shirts.
was very important. The hoodies.
Yeah.
We did not allow that on the golf course.
I can't wait to pick up golf and better understand it because I see a lot of my former teammates enjoying it. But right
I
now,
do want to
I
learn how to golf actually too.
I just can't get in it right now. I mean, I watched the Masters
after
this
the
weekend.
golf, the boys and I, we like to sit around and talk a little business.
Yes.
You know.
I don't think I love being a man
We
enough
have tea.
to love golf.
We just have a nice tea,
Yeah.
and that's what takes so long. Sometimes there's traffic. You gotta understand, it's 18 rounds. It just takes a few hours.
It does take a long time.
This Tiger nonsense, it's nothing to do with us. Just miss me with it. You didn't have to take him out in the first place.
Good golfer. Good golfer.
You like my golf take?
Yeah, I like it. That was different.
I'm doing a lot of impressions today.
I like it. I'm a fan.
Maryland. Hear ye, hear ye. LeBron James is petty again.
And I won't back down.
I think this is like 3 weeks in a row now.
Kawhi last week.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Kawhi's
You're right about that.
Yep.
Okay, well, LeBron, I feel like he was like a fake Alabama fan for 5 minutes, right?
He likes things that are great.
Yeah, he bandwagon jumped to that.
Yeah, he does that.
Yeah, well, him and Shannon have a lot in common. They just pick the best team and then claim them as their team for their entire lives.
Not gonna
Anyway,
comment on it.
LeBron and Nick Saban are at war. According to Dave McMenamin of ESPN, LeBron sent a copyright infringement letter as well as an intellectual property appropriation to the University of Alabama. Alabama. So, why, you say? Well, that's because LeBron thinks he owns barbershops. So, we all know that LeBron James does this thing called The Shop on Uninterrupted. Shout out to Uninterrupted. I like that
Yeah.
product a lot.
Yeah. Good stuff.
However, you guys did not invent doing interviews in barbershops. You did not invent filming things in barbershops. There's actually a movie called Barbershop.
They made way too many of those than they
There were
needed to.
several movies
Yeah.
that spun off of that,
Even
including
Beauty
Beauty Shop, which I watch every time it's on.
Great. Queen Latifah at her finest.
I love that movie.
Yes, of course.
Great movie. So Baby's in that movie.
Yes. Little baby cameo.
No, wait, what does he say?
I don't know. I
I
haven't watched it.
something
I don't
like,
watch it every time it's
roll,
on.
roll with me, shouty. I don't know what he says. No, he does not say that. Anyway, the point is, LeBron is suing Nick Saban because Nick Saban inexplicably,
Yes.
in LeBron's defense, inexplicably finds himself in a barbershop doing The Shop, and it's Nick Saban, Julio Jones, and some other Alabama football players conversing while they're getting haircuts at Bama Cuts, which is at the university's athletic facility. I don't know when Nick Saban's doing in the barbershop. I don't really care. Okay, whatever. I don't even care about that. The more important thing is, who told you own barbershops? Like, you own the concept of doing a video inside of a barbershop?
The nerve.
The unmitigated go.
Yes.
Like, I'm sorry. I like Interrupted a lot, okay? But this is silliness.
Right.
All right? It's offensive, and I actually think that Alabama should sue them back for taking up their time.
Yeah. Carpool Karaoke should send a cease and desist letter to him, KD, and Kerry Champion for riding around in cars talking. How about that? Let's get that ball rolling.
I did an interview like that. I don't want to be sued.
Yes,
You know what?
it's true.
Because you didn't invent the idea of recording things in cars either. No idea is new, dog.
Yeah,
I've been
yes.
trying to tell you guys this forever. It's
Right.
called creatives. We just refurbish other people's good ideas.
Yep.
Do
Change the
you
name.
watch television?
Mm-hmm. Right. Yes, the remake.
Okay, so
We
like
just watched Jumanji again.
again, and I liked it.
Yeah.
Okay, so the point is, you did not come up with this idea.
Mm-hmm.
There's a little known movie called Coming to America. There's a barbershop scene in there. I don't see you suing Eddie Murphy.
Right.
Okay, so give me a break. And by the way, while we're being petty, while we're keeping it real, which
Yes.
is all we do around here. Yes, I am aware the crown is not staying on my head very
Thank you.
well
I'm
right
glad
now.
you addressed
I'm
it.
trying to hold my head still while I talk. It looked very weird in last week's video because I'm like this the whole time trying to hold it still.
It's pretty funny.
Okay, so the more important thing is
Yes.
we about to get paid.
We about to get. Oh.
No, you're not about to get paid. I'm about to get paid.
Okay, Joy about to get paid.
Actually, I'm not
Ooh.
about to get paid at all. Fox might be about to get
Fox about to get. Oh, that doesn't do anything for me.
paid. Yeah.
They get money.
I don't
all
think
the
it's going to
time.
trickle down to me.
No,
But
no.
I'm here for the company.
Yes, let's do it.
Because LeBron, while you busy suing everybody, okay, while you busy out sending out these letters and
Mm-hmm.
such from your lawyers and such, I'd like to remind you there's a little promo for a little show we do around here called Undisputed, featuring moi
Yes.
and Shannon Sharp
Right.
and Skip Bayless
Mm-hmm. Y'all heard of them? Mm-hmm. Yep.
at a barbershop,
Yes.
Legends Barbershop,
Legends.
here in Los Angeles.
Yes, on Fairfax.
You know when it aired?
When it air?
September 6th, 2016. Do you know when the shop aired? LeBron? June of 2017.
Woo!
So basically, y'all stole our idea,
Yes.
and now you're suing other people for stealing your idea.
And he saw
And
that
guess
for
what?
sure.
I don't think we came up with that idea either. So there you go. All right? Everybody's being petty. That's what it
Yes.
is. When you get your money from Alabama, you can just send that check on over to
Right. Mm-hmm.
us because you stole our idea. It's still on the internet. You can go check it out. It's pretty much exactly the same thing that you're doing. I think I
Yes.
have a hot Tebow take on there.
Yes.
You're welcome. You can steal it if you like because I don't care about people stealing creative ideas. Just like I don't think that people that post memes are joke stealers.
Yeah, well, shouts out to Mike at Legends. His family's from Louisville. I used to get cut there. It's just very far. It was like when I was in LA and I didn't know anything else, where anything else was. I'll just go to the famous place.
Right.
Decent haircuts. Good conversation.
Yeah.
Too far.
That's understandable. You got
Yes.
it's hard to get around.
Shouts
LA.
out to Legends.
Yeah. Shout out to Legends. They were very nice, and we had a great time there shooting our very original barbershop video for the internet.
He gonna come after you.
And it was come,
Yes.
bro. They have the dates on when things are posted.
Yes.
That's what they do.
Video
They document it for time purposes, and then when you do the suing, they just go, well, remember this was like a year ago. Prove you didn't watch that video, and that's where you didn't get the idea.
We're gonna be following this closely. We gotta
How do you feel about people that make meme pages, though?
meme
I
pages?
snuck that in.
Yeah, you did. I don't know how I feel about it. You felt fat Jewish?
Look,
Beige cardigan?
here's the thing.
Overheard in LA?
If you don't want your meme stolen, you put the watermark on it, okay?
Yes.
Otherwise, it's the internet's now. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you for sharing. It
But-
no longer belongs to you.
Black Twitter does a lot of things well. We do not. We do plagiarism very well. We don't cite our sources.
We do not cite sources, and we
No.
also do the watermarks very well. The watermark will go in the middle.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
The middle of the picture, it's got to go right there.
The whole content will be obscured because y'all not going to take anyone else's credit for this.
Watermark's gotta go
Ass
right
fillet.
there. 100%. Right in the middle. All right, all we do is win.
Yay.
Arike Ogunbowale is
You definitely nailed the second
our
one.
DJ Khaled. All we do is win. Winner, women's basketball at Notre Dame.
Mm-hmm.
I think this soundbite will properly describe what's happening.
National championship or overtime.
Here we go. Here we go. No way. No way. Ah! Ah!
What?
Ah! National champions, baby! No way. Woo! No way. Did I cuss? I don't know if I cussed on here or not.
I might have. Look at that.
No way.
Oh,
Arike again in the corner.
what the hell? Look at how she shot. She wasn't even on her feet.
I don't even care.
That's Brandon making all kinds of weird sounds. But she hits the walk-off to win the national championship game, which is amazing.
Oh, man.
What were your feelings?
I mean, I watched the whole game. It was painful to watch. Jessica Shepard was our only player performing. That last play was designed to go to her. But obviously, Ogunbowale, she's been killing the whole game. She did that last shot. Mamba mentality, number 24.
Oh, amazing.
From Minnesota. Her brother actually was a Wisconsin running back. Fun fact. But I'm just feeling good energies. I told you I'm going back to Notre Dame Day at the end of April. We got national championships. Notre Dame hockey is going back to the Frozen Four next week, so they could be national championships as well.
Ball State.
Huh? I claim both schools. I got degrees from both schools. I'm claiming both of them. Yes, I did do that. Yes, I did say that. Anyways, national champions. This is so great. The women's basketball team, we always had a really good relationship with the women's basketball team for on the football team. And so happy for all those girls. A bunch of them were at the game. Muffet McGraw's the great. I'm gonna say this. She is the Ogunbowale.
Yes.
Is the biggest Notre Dame athletics legend since Tim Brown. Last person to win a Heisman, that was 1987. We don't have any big championships. I haven't seen
87, a good year.
I haven't seen it. Last time they won a championship, was 2000. I was 17 years ago. I haven't seen a national championship win for Notre Dame on television yet. It was very special for me. Very excited to go back. Shouts out Notre Dame. Y'all better get the women's jersey ready for me. 2X, maybe a 3X, depends on how I eaten going into that week. You feel me?
I'm going to let you have that one. I don't have too much to add to that, except for I'm glad that UConn didn't win, because that's always the argument
You're
against
welcome.
women's basketball. Yes, thank you for that.
Yes.
Also, South Carolina had, a little bit to do with that.
Come on
the
now.
winning also,
Come on.
it's very exciting.
It is.
Very exciting women's
It was undoubtedly better. I would love to see the numbers of that, because that game was so much better than the national championship game that we watched last night.
100%.
Yes.
Dare someone to argue with me about that.
Yes.
Dare someone to bring me Dante with that. I ain't trying to hear that. Definitely better. Good take by you.
Thank
All right,
you.
loser power rankings.
Loser power rankings. Loser power rankings. These are the losers of the week.
All right. Unfortunately, Hassan Whiteside has to be on the loser power rankings this week. He is complaining about not getting the playing time because he didn't play in the overtime loss. He played 20 minutes. So
You usually defend him.
yeah, I like Whiteside, but and look, like I don't give Whiteside a hard time because he comes as advertised. Like he was a problem child, if you will,
Right.
and the Heat gave him his career. So, but you knew what you were getting with Hassan Whiteside. That's why Juwan Howard is on the staff to watch Hassan Whiteside. So they fined him for his comments, and it's look, you're in the 7th seed. You're barely making the playoffs. Like, just stay focused. Like, this is important. It's important for Heat Nation that we not have problems right now, which is why Eric Spoelstra said it was poor timing and poor judgment.
Yeah.
And it's just not professional. And also, you had a 4-year deal with $98 million, Hassan. Like, you're playing in the YMCA a couple years ago. Like, just stay focused.
Millennials.
You know what?
They just want to know why.
I can't argue against it. You know what?
What?
Fair.
Yeah.
Fair.
They just want to know why.
All right. Number 2, loser this week, LeBron. Look, LeBron.
It's maybe the first time he's in the loser power rankings.
So, yeah, I think he might be.
Yeah.
It might be his first appearance. It's earned, though.
Yes.
Okay, so LeBron posted on Instagram this picture of little LeBron James Jr.,
Yes, Bronny.
or Bronny, as they call him.
Mm-hmm.
And he's crossing up another player on the court. How old is this kid? He's probably like 12. He's a baby.
We don't know
All
how
right,
this kid is.
he's very young.
Yeah. He's Bronny's age.
He's Bronny's age, yes.
Yes.
He posted this picture with the caption, "Bronny, chill out. We practice sportsmanship in this house." But he did pick you up in the backcourt like he wanted some smoke, so you had to do what you had to do with the shrug. Okay, he's 13. Yeah. Hashtag James Gang, hashtag Strive for Greatness. Also, just a note, if LeBron doesn't put hashtag Strive for Greatness, it didn't actually happen. Here's the problem. You can't take down a kid, LeBron.
Right.
Like, it's a child. You can't be roasting a child on your Instagram.
That is very memeable, though. That
It is a baby. I am
Yes.
I am out on it. All right, like we roast adults all the time.
13. He's a teen now, though.
No,
Yeah,
that's a
he's a
baby.
teen.
That's a baby.
He still got crossed over. Babies
Okay,
get crossed
listen,
over all the time.
he did get those ankles broke, but like you
Yeah.
can't be LeBron, the second greatest player of all time, roasting a 13-year-old child. And ironically, you had a big problem with LeVar talking about your little babies. So you out here in these streets looking a little bit hypocritical
It's true.
with the roasting of the child
true.
on your Instagram.
Bron's
it's
not
not
perfect.
nice.
Listen, I saw it, and
I did laugh though because
it's pretty fun. Like, it's one thing because Bronny is like clear in the picture, and the kid who's falling is blurred. He's falling so fast. Who got that photo?
Here's the problem. You cannot recover from that. Like, you can't get roasted by LeBron James on his Instagram for getting crossed over and then come back. Like,
Nowadays, that's how kids get famous. So that kid might have some followers.
it's very, you know, the picture's very blurry though.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. You got
I
crossed
feel like
over
maybe it
like
was from a
that.
video. Perhaps that's why it's blurry. Screenshot?
Ooh, good detective work. You said
Listen.
don't give you an inch. You got it.
Centimeters, honey. All right. This is a very important moment.
Yes.
Everyone needs to pay attention. All right. Number one loser this week.
Might need a moment of silence for this
Yes.
afterwards.
We had a lot of talk about the GOAT.
Yep.
And we talked a lot about the national championship game. And the time has come. We are officially, as a society,
Yes.
retiring the Jordan crying meme.
Say it one more again so they can hear
We
you.
are officially
Yes.
retiring the Jordan crying meme.
Bet.
I know this has been tried,
Mm-hmm.
but it's going to take the voice of a nation to make this happen, and I am doing it. It's got to go, okay? Number one loser this week is the Jordan crying meme, and this is why.
Yes.
Because for a very long time, the meme has been very annoying. I think we can all agree on that.
Yeah. Flooding timelines.
But Sister Jean had to get the crying Jordan meme treatment,
Yes.
okay? And the L,
With the quickness.
holding the L, and she got it, and I laughed because it was funny, and I laugh at things that are funny.
Yes.
But it's gonna retire with Sister Jean. We're done now. So from this
Yes.
moment forward, if you post a crying Jordan meme on anything, I can safely assume that you're not a funny person.
And that's fine.
That's the
They
punishment.
exist out there.
That's the punishment because
Yeah.
really, if you're posting a crying Jordan meme,
Mm-hmm.
you're basically already saying you're not funny, and that it's like the same. It's literally the same joke. Everyone is telling the same joke.
Right.
We all get in a room together like, oh my god, I have the funniest joke, and we all tell each other the same joke to each other's faces until like we all just like, oh my god, that's
Right.
so funny. Here's the joke. It's the same exact joke. Like,
Right.
oh my god, it's so funny.
Yeah.
Here's my joke. It's the same joke. Oh my god, it's so
Yeah,
hilarious.
it's
same joke.
It's LOL
the
funny. Like when you type it,
It's
and you,
not even LOL funny.
Yeah, when
It's
you're, like,
not-
straight-faced
no,
and
no,
say
no, I won't
LOL?
even give that an LOL.
No?
That ain't even getting an emoji. It's getting a read. Okay, and that's it because it's not funny anymore. So we're retiring the Jordan crying meme. It has been retired with Sister Jean.
Yep.
Shout out Sister Jean. By the way, Sister Jean was not leaving early. I know the internet always wants to pretend like they're in every single building, every single where.
Yes,
all right,
yes,
she's
yes.
in a wheelchair. She's 98 years old, or however old she is. She's very old. They had to move her out of the way so she didn't get run over when the game was won or lost. It's like logic. Okay, I know it's very difficult for the internet to understand anything when they're not
Yes.
there because they think they're all there, including myself. But I also don't know this for sure, but I'm pretty sure the reason that they moved her is because she's old. They didn't want anything
they
to happen to her.
moving her so the players can say bye. When
I
they
safely
walk by.
assume this because, oh my God, she was still there.
Yeah, I think. Well, listen, this may be the first time that the Jordan meme has been on a popular person over the age of 90. That's probably like a good reason to just roll it out. Roll it out with Sister Jean. It's gone.
I agree. Let's roll out the Jordan meme
Bye.
with Sister Jean. So if you
Hold
post
the
it
L.
from now on, you have been warned. You are not funny, which is important because if you're posting the Jordan meme, you're trying to be funny,
Yes.
so it should hurt you.
You're not just saying, "Hey guys, look at this one." You're like, "Look how funny I am,"
Look how funny I am,
and you're not.
You're not funny.
Not anymore. Sorry.
All right, it's time for our favorite segment.
Yes.
And most important segment
Yes.
of the day, the
Yes.
Migos Report.
Okay, so quick recap on Huncho Day of the Nawf.
Recap.
The only thing I really wanted to say was that during the national anthem, when it was played, 21 Savage kneeled in protest. I think that should be mentioned.
Kaepernick.
Yes. Nature Boy Ric Flair was there. Muhammad Sanu threw some interceptions. Team Julio won.
I correctly predicted that.
Yes, you did. Julio Jones won MVP. Takeoff came an hour late in street clothes. Clearly not an athletic person. Moving on, OBJ.
Odell Beckham Jr.
recently rolled out his newest leg tattoo that reads "Straight Out of the Jungle."
Straight out the jungle.
While Narcos from Migos Culture 2 is playing, and it leads me to believe
Luego.
that
It's literally on his Luego.
OBJ is treating his body like a third grader would treat their composition notebook and just writing any and all things on it, decorating any way he wants to.
Yeah. I mean, he has that right. It's his body. He can do what he wants with it.
It's getting outrageous.
It's getting outrageous.
Yes.
He has Mike Tyson biting Evander Holyfield's ear on the cover of Sports Illustrated tattooed on his body.
Okay, so would you get it? What Migos tattoo would you get?
I would get no Migos tattoos.
Exactly.
I would only get the Migos Report because that's the only thing that relates to me with the Migos. The Migos Report and this podcast.
What do you think? What do you think about OBJ's tat, or it's this whole thing?
I mean, it's insane. Like, his tattoos are insane. It's insane. I have a feeling in 50 years he's going to regret that tattoo. And you know what that means? Who cares? Because that's what everyone says when you get a tattoo. Literally everyone.
Yes, and
oh my God, when you're 70, you're gonna hate that tattoo. Actually, honey, I'm not, because I'm gonna be 70 and I'm not gonna give a crap what anyone thinks. I can promise you that. I barely care now.
I don't love the tattoos I have right now.
I barely care now. I'm 31 years old. What kind of curmudgeon do you think I'm gonna be when I'm 70? You think I'm gonna be worried about my lower back tattoo when I'm 70 years old? Really? No.
Yeah, it's got personal.
No.
But yes,
so no, Odell is not going to care. I think it personal. That's what everyone says when you get. How many people told you that when you got your goofy tattoo? One of your goofy tattoos.
Yeah. People. I don't know how many people were scared of me because not a lot of people said it, and I think a lot of people were thinking it when they saw it.
Yeah, that's what everyone thinks every time you ever get a tattoo.
Yeah.
It's like you're gonna regret that tattoo. Like,
yeah,
maybe I will, maybe I won't, because then I'm not gonna care when I'm old.
Okay. Well, moving on. Also, Offset was featured in Cardi B's Bartier Cardi video that just dropped. What'd you think about that?
Of course. I mean, what do you mean? She's gonna have she's gonna have a stand-in for her man in the video.
I'm just mad that music videos haven't changed in 50 years. It's the same stupid watching it on TV while I'm watching it on TV. It's just dumb. I'm out on music
Brandon,
videos.
there's only so many creative ideas in the world.
I know. We can't even find a new word for in or out, or a new segment for in or out.
Exactly. Exactly. We've been asking for 3 weeks. We're still looking for a new name.
I'm laying out.
All right, that's the Maybe I'm Crazy podcast for this week. Thank you to Chris Broussard for joining us. Make sure you check out his podcast, In the Zone Podcast, and follow us on all of our social media pages at Maybe I'm Crazy Pod, and subscribe and share it with your friends. And thanks for joining us, and we'll catch you next time.
Bye.
Maybe I'm crazy, maybe I'm crazy, maybe I'm